An interesting thing is I feel like people who are like fostering pets right now, bringing a new energy.
I tuned out for only 15 seconds and then came back realizing your analogy for this is foster pets.
Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
I'm so excited to chat with you for an hour as though no one's listening. And in fact, I want to continue a conversation I almost started before we did this and you were like, save it.
Oh, yeah.
But first, is anyone out there listening?
Yeah, this is from Mariana NG over on Spotify. Left a comment on, I think, last week's episode. It says, if you do move to Paris, just know there is a nobody listening here in the 17th arrondissement. Every mercredi.
Oui.
Is that Wednesday? Oh, nice. Elizabeth, I didn't want to say it before, but your fantasies about French men might take a hit. For romance and passion, you should move to Italy. Love listening to you both. Thank you. What are your French fantasies she's referring to?
Maybe offhand, I've talked about like French, French men. But I feel like I've mostly, I don't know. My fantasies, unfortunately, and you can't control them. Mm-hmm. You just can't. And you should give up trying.
Okay.
I've resigned myself to this. Involve like pretty gross American men.
Really? It has to be American?
No, but I just don't know. Our travels, it'll be interesting to see if it opens up that dark closet in my mind up to like foreign men. But they haven't made an appearance so far. It's been like that one waiter I found repulsive at a coffee shop I used to go to.
He's a good looking guy, though.
I guess objectively he was, but he had like an oafish hot quality about him.
Oh, God, yeah. No need to revisit this.
Anywho, I'd love to open up the library.
French guys like really are into romance, where Italian guys are very into romance, but also beauty. They're really like hitting on the girls a lot, right?
I think there's a lot of ogling, which I have to say, I guess under the right conditions, I might find kind of hot. But I think in real life is a real huge, it's really obnoxious and a huge turnoff. But.
Yeah. And then French guys, I think, get like too, like doing too many poems and stuff too, right? Like they get serious about the romantic stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. Is that the cliche? I think that's the cliche.
You know what's interesting? It used to be like red roses was the cliche on Valentine's Day. And I think there are women who love that shit. Mm-hmm. I've never been. I'm like, okay, now I have to like cut it and put it, But
you like a box of chocolates?
Sure.
A heart-shaped box?
Well, usually if it's high quality, I don't really want like CVS style, but
hard to please.
But now that I'm older, I do appreciate of course I appreciate like a beautiful bouquet of flowers that makes your home feel nice and pretty. It's just the red roses thing to me has never really done it.
And you feel
never
like
gotten my puss wet.
You feel like it's pretty hack too, right?
I do.
Yeah.
It feels very low effort. Like, oh, what am I going to do for this person?
Yeah.
Who I don't even know.
Why don't you know them?
Well, it seems like you don't, if that's what you're doing. Just the cliche thing that capitalism has fed you.
So, okay, let's say it's me and I get you a dozen roses on Valentine's Day. What's happening?
I'm so annoyed.
Are you so annoyed?
Yeah, because I'm like, buy me some cool jeans.
Jeans for the price of a dozen roses?
I was just looking, there are these Reformation jeans I really want.
Okay, I don't care.
Okay.
Why was there a pair of underwear in the trash the other day?
Oh, because I bled through them.
Then let me ask again.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Why was there a pair of trash? Why'd you throw them out? Throw them in the wash.
Those are pretty kicked, that pair of underwear, the specific one. I was on the fence, like they were towing the line anyway, and it's why I wore them for day 2.
So they were about to get cut
so
anyways.
The decision was made for me.
I actually respect that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I want to call you on how you are constantly kicking Mother Nature in the face, but this isn't one of them. I respect this. You were already about to, pull this out of rotation.
And do you see how it turned what could have been an annoying situation into like, oh, I get to just fucking toss them.
Yeah.
Instead of rinsing them in the sink and wringing them out and then having wet under, like all that stuff.
Can I ask another menstruation
Of course.
thing?
That's what we're here for.
So you haven't had a period in a long time.
Not a real one.
Not a real one. And how long?
Like some spotting. Probably a year and a half or something.
Okay. So to my knowledge, well, I know, I'm not saying to my knowledge of the period. I know that because I keep track of all that stuff in my phone. But to my knowledge, before that time, you had at some point become a pad woman.
I had.
But I'm at the store the other day.
Yes.
And you sent me a text message saying, hey, pick me up some tampons.
Yes. Need those palms.
I'm a little confused. And. Actually, I'll circle back to my follow-up question. Go on.
I turned to pads because I had, and once again, so happy that we're talking about this. Mm-hmm. I had a pelvic prolapse.
Yeah.
It was like uterine and also asshole. I don't know what was happening, but everything was caving in. And it was uncomfortable for a long time after giving birth to our son, after having given birth to our daughter, to wear tampons. And so I just was like, I guess they're not for me.
Okay.
Then a couple of years ago, I just stopped needing anything, really.
Right. You have some panty liners when you need them for the spotting, right?
Yeah. But this time around, I knew this was coming because I went off the birth control pill. I should say that's why I haven't had a period. And I'm trying to like kind of reset my hormones and maybe start getting into HRT. So I kind of loaded up on a bunch of stuff. And lo and behold, the tampons are just fine. So I think my prolapse is a lot better now. It's all kind of like gotten, maybe it's Pilates, maybe, I did PT a couple of years ago. I don't know. But anyway, I have the pelvic strength, like I'm kegling right now.
Okay.
And
great.
I could lift, it's like pick up the tissue, put the tissue down on the floor.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
So, but can I say?
Please.
The tampons have been amazing.
And yet you had a blowout.
I did have a blowout.
Was that a tampon-related blowout?
Yes.
So that was going to be my follow-up question. So what's going on here?
Well, what happened was it was day 2. I had a dental emergency. I had to go in and have like a new crown created and stuff. And it's a whole thing. And I didn't expect to be there for over an hour, but I was.
Right.
And so I just hadn't I should have changed it out.
Right. Were you using a regular, a super, or super plus?
Regular.
Got it. It sounds like it might have been a super plus day would have solved that. This message brought to you by Tampax.
Okay. Cool. So where were we?
I just know that because I was looking at the box in the store trying to figure out what to get.
Oh, but what I wanted to say is something that I haven't had, even though on birth control, I did have kind of like, I enjoyed several years, first of all, of not having my period. Wonderful. Kind of, I think it steadied out my emotional stuff, but almost kind of dimmed things a little bit for me.
I liked how you were docile.
Yeah, I know you did. I was a kept woman.
I don't like this new, vibrant, zesty Elizabeth.
Yeah, I have a zest. And
spark is back.
And I have a zing. But what I had forgotten is wonderful, is here I am on day 5.
Right.
And it's like you wake up and feel like a whole new person. And I've stopped bleeding and I'm like, my body feels great again. I went to Pilates this morning and I it's like you've gone through something.
Now
this happens once a month.
You're looking super fit and I've been very attracted to you today, making advances, getting shot down and whatnot. Is that part of it too?
No, that would be around ovulation. So
and when does that happen again?
Hopefully around 2 weeks.
Hopefully around 2 weeks from today?
Oh, sorry. No, like a week and a half.
Gotcha. So there is no chemistry, biology thing happening that I'm picking up on today?
Well, maybe it's just that I feel good again and I'm not like, ugh.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I have another thing that I want to bring up about you. I'm really proud of you about something.
You are?
Yeah. You did something that I would never have the balls to do recently.
What?
Yeah. So you had this weekend Pilates class.
Yes, I did.
It is at like a community rec center place, right?
Yes.
Okay. And because I don't know all the details, other moms from school are there?
Yeah, a bunch. There are like 6 moms from our neighborhood.
And had you ever been to this class, or is what I witnessed the first time you went?
First time I went.
Okay, I'm even more proud of you then. Okay. So my experience, if I'm painting the picture, I kind of forget that you even have a class.
Yeah.
Right? But it's Saturday. Was it Saturday morning?
Mm-hmm.
It's Saturday morning, whatever, Saturday's cooking, and I'm out in the garage. Maybe I came out to the studio. I think I was playing with my new camera or something, and I see you looking for something, and you're like, I got to get going. I'm going to my Pilates class. Have you seen the yoga mat?
Yeah.
And at one time, you had
Probably
a yoga
3
mat.
yoga mats.
I had an exercise mat. We had a bunch in the garage.
And I still am like,
where the fuck is it?
Yeah.
But you can't find it. I'm a little perplexed. I'm thinking maybe there is one, but then I think, oh, maybe we got rid of all of them at our garage sale potentially.
Last year, yeah.
But you can't find it, and time is running out.
I'm late.
So if I'm in your situation,
yes,
I think there's only 2 options, to be honest. One is
don't go to class.
Don't go to class. Very serious.
Oh.
Because you're running late too.
For the first class.
Right. So,
by the way, a class that all the other women have been going to.
Right. So you're coming in. Oh my God, this is just like stressing me out so much.
Yeah.
So that's option 1. And I can't believe you didn't take that option. Option 2 in my mind is, okay, Elizabeth, you can do this. And you know what? They probably have extra mats there. Huge caveat, though, this is not a yoga Pilates place.
No.
This is a community center.
Yes.
To which, again, I'm going back to option 1. We can't go to this class. But what do you do? This is unfucking believable.
I love to hear this now because you played it very cool. Like,
well, there was no audience for me to play it to. You literally grabbed the thing and then we're off.
Yeah.
And I was standing in our garage, jaw open, like, holy shit, what a badass, but also
embarrassed for me.
Also very embarrassed for you. You grabbed like the ugliest picnic blanket thing, like this pink thing with flowers on it and like an ugly orange mixed in. Like, it is fucking hideous, and it's also huge.
It's huge.
And the idea that you walked in to that fucking Pilates class where there's all these women that you know, and you walk in with a huge fucking blanket.
I was totally like the low rent one also, though, because all the other women had like cute kind of, like, I was wearing like an old t-shirt and kind of like some old yoga tights that have like paint stains on it.
The kind that if you bled through, you'd throw them in the trash.
100%.
You're looking for an excuse. You're hoping that you bleed through these so you can justify throwing them in the trash. Yes. I get it. Yeah.
But so we get there. I'm late. Everyone's already set up.
You walk in late with the fucking huge quilt.
The quilt, like, there was no way to fold it to make the shape of a yoga mat.
So
like,
embarrassing.
It was such an odd size that I was trying to fold it in a way that would make a yoga mat shape, and there's just no way. And so then one of my friends said, "Oh, they have."
Okay.
They had yoga mats. So I got a yoga mat. Thank God.
Now, did you try to lay it out, though? Did people see?
I was rearranging and folding and
how many? See, here's the problem, too.
I'm that person, though, who comes in and everyone's like, Jesus fucking Christ, get your shit together.
If you weren't late, You could somehow do like a big move, like I couldn't find my yoga mat. You could sort of announce to the class to ease it. But you being late, were you able to do that? Or were you literally just like, did you kind of do that to the people you knew?
I think I did, yeah, to the people I knew. Like, but then I was getting to it. It all happened very quickly. And then Sarah was like, hey, there's...
Oh my God.
But it was...
How many... Was it mostly ladies?
Yes, and it was packed and it was hard.
And was it all ladies or also
class.
men too?
No, all ladies.
Is it a ladies class?
No, I think men could do it.
I'm listening.
Yeah, you should come.
Nah, I'm not really interested though.
Okay.
So crazy. So, it was a good class?
It was. It was so hard. I was like sore the next day in a great way. I'm excited.
All right. I genuinely...
What would you have done?
I wouldn't have gone. I like genuinely admire that you went and like
you wouldn't have gone even if you were like, well, maybe they'll have a mat. Because then you're in a situation where if they don't, then you're just standing there.
Yeah, then it's like people feel sad for you.
Yeah.
And then what do you do? Just leave? Or then do you use the... I don't know. I
just
don't like
watch.
It. I don't.
I'll just observe this class.
Oh, that's okay. I'll just watch this one. No.
Creepy.
But I was so impressed. I could not do that.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyways, kudos.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Andy.
Yes.
So excited to thank this week's sponsor, Fast Growing Trees. A quiz for you.
Ready.
Did you know that Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with thousands of different plants and over 2 million very happy customers?
I didn't. I do now.
If they're like me, they're embarrassingly happy, which I'll get to. So it seems like the right time, though. We're going to pause and announce some huge personal news of ours.
Okay.
We've had a third child. Mm-hmm. That child is our Chinese pistache tree from Fast Growing Trees that I speak to each morning.
Yes.
And dulcet tones. It's in our front yard, and I squeal over how quickly it's growing. Now, our eldest daughter is embarrassed, not by her baby sibling. No. She loves the Chinese pistache as well. She's embarrassed that her mom is out there every morning oohing and awing over the glorious full leaves that are now turning a gorgeous crimson.
Oh.
As all the other kids are walking to school right in front of our short fence, I'm going on and on about how its trunk is getting bigger, it's getting taller. With every week, it's growing and becoming more lush.
Wow.
I think she might be just jealous. Fast Growing Trees makes it so easy to order online. Your plants are delivered to your door in just a few days, and it's all so seamless and is honestly so much fun. Going on their website and like kind of playing around, and it gives you all the info you need about what's going to thrive in your area. It's very cool. And they've got over 6,000 plants to fit in any space, from indoor to fruit trees to full-size privacy trees and more. And their Alive and Thrive guarantee ensures your plants arrive happy and healthy. This spring, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 15% off their very first purchase when using the code NLR at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code NLR at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code
NLR.
Now's the perfect time to plant. Use NLR to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Andy.
Yes.
I want to thank our week's sponsor, OneSkin, which you know I love.
I know you love it.
Look at this sleek packaging. It makes me feel very high tech. I love it so much, I basically gave them a free ad on our other podcast, Nobody's News, just because I was simply shouting them from the rooftops.
It's true.
And my love affair with them is just in time because, as we all know, summer's basically here. And the sun, chlorine, dry air from air conditioning, it all wears down your skin barrier, leaving your complexion, yours especially.
Don't say it.
I'm just kidding. All of ours, dull, dehydrated, and more sensitive. So OneSkin has everything you need to keep your skin healthy, hydrated, and strong all summer long. And the secret, as I've said before, is a proprietary peptide called OS1.
OS1.
It's the first peptide scientifically proven to reduce the damaged cells, I call them zombies, little zombie cells, that weaken your skin barrier and accelerate aging. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer, which I love. For a limited time, all of our listeners, you listening, can try OneSkin with 15% off using code NLR at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code NLR. After you purchase, they're going to ask you how you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's very important to me on a personal level. Give your skin the scientifically proven gentle care it deserves with OneSkin. So before we started this podcast, we were talking about, like, with the dawn of 23andMe and all of that stuff, obviously so many people, and men especially, because women usually tend to know if they're pregnant and carrying a child, have kids who are coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, daddy,
Yeah.
I'm your kid.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, families getting decimated because it turns out that, you know, Grandpa Tucker was a naughty boy. And, but anyway, I was just speculating, like, what would you do if some gal that you had a one-night stand with in New York, how many of those are there?
What do you mean?
One-nighters.
Oh, like that
in your repertoire.
That I never saw again?
Yeah.
Probably just a couple.
A couple.
That I, like, never, like, truly, like, a one-night stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And actually only one's, like, really popping into my mind. It was like the best sex I've ever had in my entire life. It was like a night. It's one of those nights seared into your brain that you could never, ever, 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 ever forget. You know what I mean? One of those. I'm kidding. I'm totally joking.
I know. Andy.
Yeah.
Was it at your house usually, or were you at other places?
The one that I'm remembering, I wasn't at my place. I was in Brooklyn.
Where?
At their apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
You went back home with her to her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And how frequently would you guess that you took ladies back to your apartment?
What are we? What are we talking about? I don't know. It depends. Was I dating them?
I'm a big surprise for you. Esmeralda, come on in. No, I only had 2 one-night stands, but it was quite a week for me.
Right,
and I'm not even
Fleet
joking.
Week. I know,
it was Fleet Week.
Yeah.
There was the Marine, and there was
okay, thumb up your butt, all that stuff. Right.
Okay,
move on.
But what would you do if a kid who's now, and we witnessed, you know, your roommate found out he had sired like a baby.
That seems like a weird way to say that, but yeah. But that was in real time, or not? That wasn't like 20 years later.
No, it was right. It was like the next year or whatever.
Yeah.
And
9 months later, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously he's been an active father to that kid, and that now he has a 21-year-old kid.
Right. So yeah, you're saying, what if like a 20-year-old showed up?
Yes.
I'm not in a place in my life to be able to deal with that. That would be very hard.
What would you say to them?
What's the scenario?
Well,
exactly?
Yeah, first you need kind of
Is
proof.
It an email, or do they just show up at my door?
Oh, that's probably, I think an email or a call, probably email.
Okay, just to make this easy for you, let's say it's like a 21 or 23andMe match, which I will never do for this reason. I'm never going to do one of those ancestor tests, you know. But let's say maybe they match with one of my relatives or something. So it's like a pretty big clue. And then they show up and they look just like me.
Yes.
Okay. I'd probably be pretty cool about it.
Well, you have to them. You can't be a dick to them about it.
Yeah. I'd be good.
Like, it's a child you made.
How would you be is the more interesting question. Would you be cool with it? Like in Elf, when
right.
Will
Buddy
Ferrell comes down,
and,
James Caan's wife is really supportive about that.
Well, Mary Steenburgen is always just going to be supportive. And I think, of course, I would be supportive, like, to the kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's very brave of them to, like, come and find you and what the expectation might be. And I would be supportive to you. I'm sure you would have a lot of big feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question is, it's an interesting dance of, like, how does that child want to be in your life? How does that work? telling our kids.
Okay, this is stressing me out. Is this going to happen or something? Has somebody emailed you? They couldn't find my email address, but you're like easier to track down and like talk to.
So I just am asking for no reason whatsoever. No.
God.
Getting stressed out.
I'm sweating over here right now. Holy shit.
Okay, we can move on from this. It was just a fun kind of thought experiment.
Yeah, and it is specific. Yeah, we can't switch this around to you because you would know if you had a kid. That would be wild if you didn't know that you had the kid.
Yeah.
But okay, you could have a sibling that you didn't know about that's out there in the world that still could find you.
Yeah.
Very plausibly.
Well, no, because that would mean my dad had intercourse.
Yeah, you don't think your dad had intercourse?
Outside of their marriage?
Yeah. I'm not saying,
No.
hold on. I'm not.
Oh my God, my dead parents?
I'm not saying while he was married to your mom.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you think he
Beforehand?
only had intercourse with your mom?
No.
He was about playa, right?
He was like he did very well in the Navy.
Say no more.
Okay. Yeah, let's really move on because an interesting thing is I feel like people who are like fostering pets right now, we've fostered pets, bringing a new energy.
I tuned out for only 15 seconds and then came back realizing your analogy for this is foster pets.
Oh my God. But go with me on this.
Oh, yeah.
We have brought there was a foster pet, we had the puppies. Puppies are different, but like that one sweet dog that we brought in who did have seizures, so it was an issue, but she was a sweetie and just having like nothing wrong with her energy. She was a good girl. But it throws things out of whack when you have a new energy coming into the family.
Especially like if the person, what do you call it, the long lost son or whatever,
that's what it would
has
be.
Seizures. It's like now I have to deal with that.
Andy,
like
stop
that's too much to put on my plate.
No, that's something that you can help them get help for. There's medication.
Yeah.
I wonder if we would put them on our health insurance.
Now, I think getting to something that you're going to get to, and I know you're going to ask me all these follow-up questions. I don't have any answers. All I have is this. I do have a friend that when he was a younger age, I'm assuming like elementary school, the family did like do a foster kid that I think the idea was to adopt.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out because of the family dynamics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I wish I knew more.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
It is interesting.
And tough stuff.
Tough stuff.
Tough stuff.
Tough stuff. Yeah.
Tough.
Now, you wanted to have a new kind of pet recently because we were asleep and we have like near our big kind of windows in our bedroom that goes out onto our deck, the motion sensor lights.
Yeah.
And so very annoyingly, every once in a while in the middle of the night, they will turn on because a little critter creature or like a spider web, I don't know.
And we have to get on the cameras to go, is it a prowler or is it an animal or a spider web?
And
that's
lately,
the
chances of it being a prowler feel much higher. So we take it seriously when it turns on.
Well, when you're putting out the vibes you've been putting out lately, it sure is a problem.
Okay. Is that a defense mechanism? Repulsive.
Is there some sort of thing if you're getting assaulted, you puke on people? Okay.
Okay.
Let's not get sidetracked.
No. So we were asleep. The lights turned on. You kept sleeping soundly. I checked the thing and I was like, oh my God. Now, we see raccoons from time to time, but this was a big, big buddy.
Yeah.
I think female. And she was kind of walking around the yard. And then she kind of walked over to the driveway area.
Yeah, we lost her for a second.
We lost her. But I said, oh my gosh, because I wanted you to be like in this with me.
Mm-hmm.
There was a huge raccoon, wow.
Yeah.
And then about 3 minutes later, it turns on again.
Yeah.
And comes right up over to, so we're looking out the window and now I'm getting up out of bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to come see.
Yeah.
This sweet girl is here saying hi to us. It turns on and she is right at the window.
Yeah.
But on all fours, like walking around the way a raccoon does.
Yeah.
Then the lights go out again.
Yeah.
Because it's motion sensor. So if nothing's moving for a while,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, get the camera and you're sitting there with the camera in front of the window
mm-hmm.
going, oh my gosh, is she still there? We don't know. And then you said, after like a while, turn on the light outside. And I turned it on and she is sitting at our window. Like she wants to fucking hang out with us. I mean, right up against the glass.
It's one of the best moments of my life.
And we have it on video. So
maybe we can post it.
We should post it. But I named her Valerie.
Yeah.
And you were hoping that this was going to become like a thing that we'd have a pet raccoon.
I'm waiting for her to come back
Yeah.
to say hello again. Like, if she comes back and sits in that spot again,
Yes.
that would be so rad.
I know. We should.
No.
Okay.
We're not leaving out anything for the raccoon.
Okay.
But
that'd be a great way to get her there.
But I just found out from our other podcast, Nobody's News, that people have raccoons as pets sometime.
Yes, because a raccoon was found smoking a meth pipe in a car.
Mm-hmm.
Not really smoking.
I had such weird dreams last night, but one of them had to do with a skunk.
Oh.
And the skunk like came up and sat next to me. And at first I didn't realize it was a skunk. I don't know exactly. I was outside. I don't know where I was. But then it like
in a park. What's the setting?
Yeah, more of a park setting. But then it waved at me. And I'm sitting pretty close to it.
Cute.
It waved at me. And then I was like, oh, whoa. And then as I got closer to it, I realized it was a skunk. And then I started freaking out.
You're a little overly scared of skunks. Like, they're just animals. Like, when you see a skunk, you're like, whoa. I mean, it's as if you're seeing a grizzly or something.
The idea of being sprayed, I understand because I'm not a fucking idiot, that smell would stay on you for days. And I can't deal with that.
Okay.
That's like literally one of my biggest nightmares. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's a dream.
Oh, yeah, that's very true. Can I tell you something crazy?
Yeah.
So also on Nobody's News, a long time ago, we did this story that Meta might be changing the way that they do ads in the future.
Yes.
They have this vision of doing like ads where they're made by AI, but they're like the ad company. They're doing everything.
So, for example, the Reformation Jeans I really want.
Great.
It would be like a model who's like my measurements of body.
Right.
Okay. But, looking great in these jeans. Like walking over to camera and being like, hey, Elizabeth. I mean, it might even be me.
Yes.
It might be my face looking at me, being like,
check
do you
out
like
these new
these?
jeans.
Look at how good your butt looks.
Yes.
Or whatever. Like, just imagine yourself like grabbing a coffee and going out with girlfriends. Or you could dress it up like this and boom, now she's out like at dinner with friends. I mean, as I'm saying this, I'm like, should I apply for... I know there's only going to be like 1 or 2 people jobs in the ad field.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this seems so wild and predatory of how much power it would give brands to sell their products.
Yes.
So I had this thing happen a few days ago with some friends of ours that
nervous.
Made me think of this. So our daughter is in this band with some other kids, and I'm over there and I'm hanging out with the other dads. I recently, I think I mentioned it on this podcast, I got a new camera. It's called the DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
Mm-hmm. And you're in love. It's very cool.
I'm in love with this camera.
I do have to say, it's a very cool camera.
It's very cool. Cost me like, I think it was $560 at Costco.
You love saying this.
And now it's almost $1,000 for that same amount because of the goddamn tariffs.
Nothing's better.
Really hard to get it. So we're talking about this camera. It came up. And then one of the guys was like, oh my gosh, I used that on a shoot recently.
And he's a DP.
That's not this guy. This is another guy that's like a producer. Okay.
Okay.
So he's
DP means double penetration.
Double penetration. That's right. So the producer guy is like, oh, I used it for this thing. And oh my God, I was like blown away by like how good this little camera was. And like we did this fun thing. And so he's showing me, and the DP is also there. He's showing me this video, and the DP is like, oh my God, that does look good. But then we're talking more and we're just geeking out about camera stuff. And the DP mentions this Sony camera, which is called an FX6.
Okay.
It's like I want to say it's anywhere from like $6,000 to $10,000 camera.
Wow.
You know, depending on like how the lens and stuff like that. But it has been like a very game-changing camera because even though that sounds so expensive to us.
I know. It's very inexpensive.
In that
like,
world.
Yes, for filming documentaries or shows.
Movies
or
even. Yeah.
Movies,
There's like movies are starting to be made with this camera, right? So we're talking about this camera and they're just like saying how amazing it is. And the producer knows all about this camera. Anyway, so we're just kind of talking about it. So then the next day, we've all had the experience where you get like an ad served to you, right?
Yeah.
Well, I get a YouTube video served to me. Now, granted, I am watching a lot of Osmo Pocket 3 videos.
Yeah.
I'm going down that YouTube rabbit hole to look at videos about my new camera. But the video that's on my homepage on YouTube literally is like the Pocket 3 versus the Sony FX6.
No.
Which is a comparison so absurd almost.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm like, ooh, I got to watch this. And the guy's like basically saying, I couldn't believe this. I just was curious how these stacked up. And like to my surprise, this little tiny camera
that must have made you feel great.
Right. That's exciting. And then I send it to those two dads being like, this is so bonkers. And I also say, and to the DP, I'm assuming you're going to like purchase one of these before this video even ends, because he was saying, oh, I'd love to have a little camera that's in my bag that I can carry around.
Yeah.
But it really freaked the DP out. He was like, what the hell? Like that does seem so crazy that you would be.
They know us better. I mean, it's like, does the algorithm know before you even had that conversation that like when someone in the type of guy who's buying this Pocket 3 brings it up to other people, he's probably talking to these other types of guys. And like, what percentage of those conversations does the Sony camera come up?
But I would say very little.
Because how many DPs are out there having these conversations?
The camera I got, the thing on YouTube, it's going to be like, how does it stack up to the iPhone or the whatever? Like it did seem pretty wild. So, but where he was freaked out, I think, was like, wow, it really does seem like they're listening, right? Which we've heard that argument a lot.
Of
and
course.
It's been debunked. And
oh, has it?
To a big extent, it seems like it's been debunked. That it's just the algorithms are so good. As you're saying, kind of like knowing this guy that's looking at this is this type of guy. But what I started thinking about was this AI ad future potentially, where it does seem so problematic and unethical if an ad company could say to Meta, like, we need to move some of these units, right? We're going to pay you because we want to sell this camera. And so Meta is just like, okay, we know this DP. We know he has an FX6. Let's make an ad that shows how this camera is good like the FX6. And he's the only person that will ever see it. It's hard.
Yeah.
It would be hard to hold anybody accountable, even if the information in the ad's not right.
Right.
And it would make the guy buy the thing.
I know the like fake news or false information, St. Monica just sent us this revisionist history episode to listen to.
Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, yeah.
Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, and it's all about RFK Jr. and vaccines, that like just how people in positions can just say whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
And in this case, it's being told this by like, I already use the Google kind of AI.
You do? Do you pay for it?
No. It just comes up for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty frequently now, it just is fed to me.
Oh, you mean at the top?
At the top.
Right. Yeah.
But what I was thinking when you were telling the story is I would be very freaked out if that YouTube video were like AI generated. The fact that it's a real person doing a real review, and I know that like as time goes on, it's going to be harder to tell.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
It's
like, what if it does become fake and it's being served just to you? Think of how many fake ads, if you will be made every day. There will be no accountability. There will be no way to save all of them.
Oh my God, we're going into a very dark time.
Doesn't that seem wild, sort of?
Yes. And your whole point about like misinformation or just saying whatever you want to say and but
yikes. Like your example, honestly, of the jeans is even like the much better, simpler example of, you're just going to get these ads with potentially you in it being like, ooh, they just dropped these. Don't these look great on me? And
like literally showing how your life is improved.
It's so...
What I will say, so these jeans, I'm like, I want to see someone who's in size 10 wearing these because some clothing companies now will have different sizes showing.
Oh, that's smart. Different models in the pages.
But not this one. And so I'm like, I know they look great on this like size 2 woman.
Yeah.
As they do. And it was because I was at Trader Joe's and I saw them on this very cute lady.
And had you already been checking these out before? Did you see them and ask her what they were?
I saw her and I was like, hey, what are your jeans? And she smiled as though like...
I get this all the time.
Kind of, not her, but the jeans.
What?
And she goes,
what do you mean?
They're the Reformation Carry jeans. And I have like 4 pairs. I'm obsessed. My mother-in-law's now wearing them. Like it seems like it's a thing. So anyway.
And she responded in a way like this is not her first time.
Yes.
And you ladies just ask other ladies about their clothes like this
at
Trader Joe's?
No, I don't very often at all. But these were like the jeans I have been looking for. But of course she was like very tiny. And I think one of those bodies that clothes just look good on. You know?
Like a firm ass or what?
Oh, God.
Hey, what part of the store were you in?
I saw her earlier. Actually, she has a child.
You're checking her out.
I saw her in the aisle where I was looking for chia seeds. Her son, she was like having an issue with her son.
Mm-hmm.
I gave her a smile because she was like, her kid was like spitting all over everything. I wanted to be like, I've been there.
Right. And you think that read how you did it?
I hope so. I don't know.
Even with your gene agenda?
I did have a gene agenda. And so then I saw her out in the parking lot and I was like, I'm going to take my shot.
Oh, it was in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Now, were you thinking about the jeans when you saw her from afar? Or did you notice her because of the kid interaction and then...
Kid jeans. Then I want you to know we kid about the gene agenda. I smiled before the jeans entered the conversation.
I don't believe you. And how much are these jeans? So you got home. When did you look them up? Were you in the parking lot or did you get home?
I got home. I'll tell you how much my receipt is. Because
you bought them?
I did.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Andy, I need jeans.
Yeah.
I think they're $178.
Got it. You know, when you have an agenda to like ask something, it's not hidden very well. You have this like kind of like you're getting ready to jump into double dutch, like eager, sort of like you do the thing where you're like kind of mouth lipping but talking, like you're saying like how much were the jeans before words come out of your mouth, but your lips are talking before the vocal cords work. As you're practicing your approach.
That reminds me of my mom who, when she would have pictures taken, she'd be like you do this when you're texting. You're like, having the conversation. But she would have a conversation. It was very smart to like make herself look like she's delighted by what she's talking about. Oh my God, I wish she weren't dead. Anyway,
I wanted to also apologize to you for something.
Okay.
That I'm sort of
Gosh, what a day. You're like giving me props. You're apologizing.
Yeah. I just was, well, this goes hand in hand with my apology. I've been having a hard time keeping track of things. So I sometimes, if I don't write it down and put it in my little app, I forget. And today I had a lot of things written down just to like address to you because I'm trying to be better, not about forgetting.
Yeah.
And you had asked me to take the air filter inside to our house because I brought it into the studio.
Yeah.
And I know you asked like 3 times. And then I saw it in the house today. And that must have been really frustrating for you to finally it's like be like, he's just never going to do it. And you took it in and I felt embarrassed and I felt pathetic for a minute. You know, that I can't
appreciate
remember.
that. No. Listen, you have shortcomings. I have shortcomings. I can't fathom what they could be. No, just kidding. I know I do. You put up with a lot from me.
A lot, yeah.
And I know you love me despite it, you know?
Yeah.
And this is one of the areas that I just have accepted. And also, I have to say, I know I'm like half kidding through this, and you are too, but having your ADHD diagnosis buys you a lot of grace with shit like this. I know it is truly connected.
But also, wouldn't you say I've gotten a lot better about this stuff? But that's one of the reasons why this one was extra painful, because I'm like, I didn't add it to my list.
Wow.
You know? And I felt so bad.
Yeah, no, you don't need to feel bad. These are not worth our worry. Listen, I feel like there are people who their spouses do things and like have a credo that they live by that I could not tolerate. I mean, how many times, I guess I probably don't say it that often, but I feel like there are times where I'm like, I can't imagine being married to that guy.
Oh, Jake, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the other day we were going on our little date, which is so fun in the morning? I feel like we hacked the system because as of late, you know, money's tight. People can help out at patreon.com/nobody's listening, right?
Speaking of,
you get a bonus episode every month, and this month is going to be fun, let me tell you.
Love it.
I can't wait to share this story. We haven't gone on as many date nights because it costs $120 just to step foot out the door.
To get a sitter.
Yeah. But we're going in the mornings after drop-off to a little coffee place, and it is just delightful. I love it so much. And what you see when you're out in the world, well, now 2 times I have seen a couple driving around East LA in a fucking golf cart. And I'm like, I want to know about these people. Did they move from Martha's Vineyard? Like, what world are they living in where they think that that's what you're doing?
Maybe that's a big Manhattan Beach thing. Oh. I think it's taking off like where your sister lives as well. I think it's
those are beach communities where I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
This is not for that. I mean, and I've seen them with their kids.
Yeah.
And there are no helmets or anything. They're just hanging out. And it's in traffic that I'm scared to even like be walking on the sidewalk around.
Interesting.
And I know I'm overly scared, and to each their own, but I have to wonder, I'm like, is this something that he's all about? And he's like, I know people don't do it here, but they should be. So we should start. I have no idea, and I hope they don't hear this.
Well, I think I'm a little mixed on it. I actually don't think it's quite as dangerous as you think on civilian, 25-mile-per-hour neighborhood streets. And also,
these are not 25 mile per hour. They're 35.
Okay. I also, if we did live in a...
Golf carts are legal.
If I did live in a beach community with a second family, I would want one of these. It seems like it would be fun, especially in a beach community where you're going down to the beach.
With your second family, does that make me your starter wife?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, but don't leave the kids behind.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, just me.
And we even have seen people up where our cabin is have these, and that looks like a really fun place to have it.
That makes tons of sense. It's a little cabin community you're diddling around. To me, this is like, it's so nuts.
Yeah.
But I also think about, we've complained and griped about like people riding their bikes in a way that's like, what are you thinking? But then I'm also like, more people should ride their bikes. Like maybe they're leading the way on something that would be better.
Well, I saw a dad with 2 kids on one bike, today going to school. And I'm like, God, that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Like you've got 2 kids on one bike.
But then good for them. The world would be a better place if more dads were out there riding the bike.
Better place how?
Well, for example, like speaking of Paris and how fucking hot those Paris men are.
Yeah.
They're turning it into a city where it's like half bikes, half cars. And like how amazing to live in a world where people only really use their cars for long distance things. And mostly the infrastructure of streets and stuff is set up for bikes.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
So I think that's Amsterdam.
That's very much Amsterdam, right?
I think so.
Speaking of getting things on the cheap, I got this Baja Fresh from Taco Bell for free today.
You did?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I went to Taco Bell because I wanted to get a Baja Fresh because we were talking about it on my Rocket League chat.
Yes.
And so I go through the drive-thru and I get my Taco Bell order. And then I got there, and as I pull up, I see, they have the fountain machines you can see right there in the window.
I don't know.
And I see, most fast food restaurants, you fill up the drinks right there.
You watch them do that?
Oh my God. You've never know. You are constantly pointing out the things I don't notice. Almost every drive-thru.
What fast food drive-thru am I going to?
Anyone you've ever been to in history.
Literally the only drive-thru I go to is Starbucks. Occasionally.
In your life, you didn't go through drive-thrus?
No, I don't really go through drive-thrus.
Oh, that's just, that makes so much sense, honestly. That makes so much sense. Anywho, I pull up to the window and I see a Baja Fresh being filled, and I think, oh, fuck. I didn't order a Baja Fresh. That was the whole point
of why you went.
It was the whole point. See, I forget things.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So I say to the guy, I'm panicking, and I'm thinking, and I say, hey, can I also get a Baja Fresh? And I'm holding my credit card. Like, can you just ring me up? And he just goes, I got you, man.
Oh,
and he just filled one up and hands it to me.
That is so cute.
And what a solid that guy did for me.
Did you give him a big tip?
You don't tip at Taco Bell, as far as I know.
You don't?
Not through the drive-thru. There's no tip button or anything. And I don't think Taco Bell would stoop to the level of having the button in their stores.
Oh, well, Starbucks has it.
Starbucks has it. McDonald's definitely doesn't. Jersey Mike's, we found out, does.
Okay.
I think Subway might have it.
Okay.
I don't think fast food restaurants should have the tip button, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, they don't get paid a living wage.
Fast food restaurants?
I think they get paid minimum wage. Unless you're like a manager. I could be wrong about that. I don't have my finger on the pulse of fast food, as we've discovered here. Okay. I think that does it.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.